Are we all cured? We got the fucking... We've got to do the fucking shit that we for fucking drug abuse. No! Are you listening?
What a Friday. As I'm sitting here counting down until the day's over, I ask myself, if I'm Lorne Armstrong today, what am I doing? There are a lot of reasons I think about this kind of stuff because Lorne is 2 years older than me. I know I just dated myself and instantly, boom, unsubscribe everywhere. I will say that I don't look my age, at least that's what my mom tells me. I'm just kidding, both of my parents are dead. But I'm going to keep it real here with Lorne. I'm thinking, if I'm Lorne, I'm sitting at home in the morning. He doesn't have the time, a specific time to get up. I have a theory that Lorne wakes up really, really early in the morning. I don't think he sleeps very much. I don't think he goes to bed late. He definitely gets up early. And when he gets up early, butt naked, walks in, makes some coffee, or he's in tidy whities with tire tracks down the back, makes his coffee, probably picks up his phone. Whoever he can call, he's calling. Because I think the first thing he does after he makes a cup of coffee is get somebody on the phone. Probably Roy or his mom, trying to figure out what they're doing for the day and how he can get involved. God forbid that he currently has animals, but if he does, we know he doesn't walk them. He lets them out, smokes a cigarette, smokes another cigarette. Lorne's the kind of smoker, when he gets up in the morning, it has to be multiple. It can't just be one. So coffee and cigarettes. Probably reaches into his refrigerator, peels back the top of that bologna container, grabs a piece of bologna and eats it, sits down, picks up his phone again, looks at it, puts it down, picks it back up, because I think his phone is such a big part of his life. And if he doesn't have a catfish, he's looking at that phone and he's wondering, how can I get this to ring again? It's like a drug addict. How do I get this to ring again? Who can I talk to? How do I get somebody to call me? He was so starved for attention that he fell for that scam. I believe in you, Mr. Scammer. I love you, Mayor of Italy. I do have some questions about whether or not I think he should still be catfished. And I answer them and I say yes. But I don't know if he is being catfished currently, because if he is, people are keeping it quiet because they don't want anybody to do the Truman Show. Send him an email, or, because I can't remember if he can get on the computer still, but send him an email or a letter and say, hey man, this person you're talking to is fake, it's played by so-and-so. They did that in the past. If you go look up important message on his channel, Jesus, man. This explains who Lorne is, that important message video. I got a letter and everything explaining that people in your chat are there to make fun of you and that the people talking to you aren't real. Because he couldn't let that chat go. That's all he's got. He couldn't let the YouTube channel go. He asked those people that are there to make fun of him if he should stay so that they can make fun of him, essentially. I don't understand the way his brain works. I doubt he's looking for a job. I think Lorne's the kind of guy who would spend more time on figuring out how to make probation and parole think he was looking for a job. Oh, I got this next big thing around the corner. Oh yeah, no, I promise you, whoever his officer is now, I promise you I've been speaking to Todd Johnson, and Todd Johnson says, we got this perfect job for you, we're just waiting for it to clear up. You know what I'm saying. And he would just bait probation and parole. And if he's not careful, and he doesn't go out and get a job, it's gonna bite him in the ass, just like it did before. I predict by the year 2025, Lorne Armstrong will be back in prison, and it will be a 5.5 year stint. He'll serve at least 3.5 years of it. I think the trailer will be gone when he gets out this time. Now, I'm not tooting my own horn, but at work I've predicted promotions and people leaving and returning within days. of when they do it. We're talking a couple years down the line. You just read people. But Lorne's behavior right now, with the Jamie Amy calls, he was getting that cockiness, that arrogance again, the robot calls. He was building himself up, working himself up into Lorne Armstrong, the genius, the untouchable. And that's the Lorne that gets in trouble. I still think he will try to contact Emma and ask if he can talk to Winnie, even if he knew, like I said, that Emma was Winnie. I think right now, Lorne would talk to Nathanielette. I think he would talk to anybody who would call. And I appreciate Tiffany moving on with her life. I really do. Wine Lover's gone, Jamie Amy. We don't talk to Ember very much. I know Raptor Bacon said he does. He got some calls for free from her, which I thought was pretty cool. Crestfallen, their girl, Ramona, Tracy, whatever her real name. I'd love to talk to her. I've heard an interview with her, I think, before, but I would love to talk to her. For the longest time, I thought Kelp Hill was her, but it's not. But I think he would desperately reach out to any of the old catfish women. And the issue I have with that is that these women would be coming back thinking he would be on his best behavior. But we know that's not the case. We know it would only take a month. He'd be screaming and yelling. Now with Jamie Amy, she held the high ground on him. She had a great job. She was making a lot of money. But I think with these other women, he saw vulnerabilities. He saw Ramona as weak because she wasn't yelling and screaming. He saw Winnie and Casey as weak because of their addictions. He thought he could get one over on Debbie, but he was wrong. And he broke down like a little girl. That was sexist. He broke down like a little bitch, and he bent the knee, and he allowed her to trample all over him. But, like classic Lorne, towards the end of that, he just reverted back into his old self. He's 51. At least I think so. He was born in 1970. Shares my birthday, that son of a bitch. That son of a bitch, out of your life. I am 100% certain someone could catfish him right now. If I had a voice changer, I could call him. It would take a little bit of convincing, but I could catfish him. What I would love is for the next person to catfish him to completely ignore all of his insanity, to completely ignore his rage. Just hang up whenever he starts raging. Do what I said before. Make him work for it. Have him call back. He can't curse. He can't scream. I think the next catfish woman, if it wasn't Jamie Amy, I was talking about the moral high ground, I think he would drink. I think he would. He needs an excuse. And Jamie Amy wouldn't tolerate it. And he knows he goes back to prison. But if he can find a woman that will engage with him, catfish or not, in that anger, I think Lorne, he would drink because anger is what I think is his trigger to drink. And I told you when he got out of prison, the reason he was so psycho with Ramona is because he was so angry all the time. He was angry that he got put in there. He was angry he couldn't do what he wanted because we know Lorne wants to do what he wants. But prison, he got up, he did what he was supposed to, he'd go to bed, and he'd repeat it. But when he got out, like I said, the rage with Ramona, and he was drinking, he was trying to block it all out. I don't know what happened in prison, but I'm certain it was unpleasant. And I told you I have my theories about that. But then again, look at Lorne. I think he would be in there. The guys in prison would be like, yeah, new fish. Oh my God, that's not a fish, boys. That's a mollusk or whatever they would say. But his rage is what triggers his drinking. I know his therapist tried to tell him that, and he probably got angry at that, because anger is his only emotion. So what does he do all day? I would imagine he just blankly stares, goes outside, invents things for himself to do. He'd be the guy at work rather than do what the boss told him to do. He'd be creating things that he thought was useful, that he wanted to do. He would probably try to go to somebody's house. He'd want to get involved with what they're doing. because he's never going to have anything that anyone wants to be involved in. He's going to want to jump into what they're involved in. And we have friends like that. They don't have anything going on, but you do, so they want to tag along for the ride. Lorne doesn't have any friends because he wants friends that can do something for him. He doesn't want friends that are just there to be friends because he doesn't understand what friendship is. I do have some thoughts about in the evening. That's when it gets rough for him. That's when he's sad. That's when he's disturbed. He has time to reflect. There's something about sunset and something about the way, psychologically, the way it causes you to reflect. It almost makes you, well, I'm trying to think of the word that I want to use, not reminiscent, but we'll just say that for now. You kind of just nostalgic, maybe. You're thinking about all the things that happened in the past. And then at night I usually come alive. During the day, I'm counting down until work is over or until I can do something that I find fun. But I think Lorne, at sunset, around that time, that's when he struggles the most. He would probably set a fire outside, find something to do. We know he goes out and hunts for bargains and he wants to sell them in his yard sale because he's gonna get rich. And I don't appreciate that son of a bitch. I appreciate the fact that Lorne has not been drinking. Because at sunset, when he's thinking about everything that didn't happen that day, and he's thinking about all of the stuff that used to happen in the past when he had all this crazy excitement, these new feelings, and he was the center of attention, I think that would cause him to drink. Because it would be the only thing he had besides smoking. I've been an addict before. I have. It was during my marriage. My ex doesn't even know. You guys are the first people to know, which is kind of sad that you're the ones I'm telling. I'm like Lorne, complete strangers, I'll tell you everything. I looked forward to whenever I could it was pills, and I looked forward to whenever I could take the next one. And I planned it out so it wouldn't affect my life. Sometimes it was during the day when I knew I had a light day at work. It wasn't anything hardcore, but it was an addiction. And I had to get over it. I broke through it myself. And to say that it was troubling is an understatement. I do have injuries, I'm in great shape because I've worked through it. But I do have injuries, and I would use that as an excuse. And the point I'm making is Lorne would use all of what I just talked about with him as an excuse to drink. He would look forward to, I'll just drink tonight, start over tomorrow, I'll be good, I won't do it anymore. But I finally quit, and it did cause some problems in my marriage that she never knew about, and I'll never tell her about. She's not going to listen to my videos. My kids will never listen to my videos. My son, sometimes he listens to me when I'm recording those research videos, and he just laughs because I've let him listen to Lorne before, and I said, son, this is what you don't want to be. I've let my daughter listen. This is who you do not want to end up with. So I think from sunup to sundown, he's looking at his phone. He's trying to find somebody who's doing something that he can get involved in so his day isn't so miserable. He's not really going out looking for a job. He might sit down and just kind of watch TV. He probably doesn't clean but once a week. He probably takes multiple showers because he has to find something to do. I just can't picture him doing anything but creating bullshit for himself to do. And just praying the phone rings. I don't know if his mom has passed on, and I don't wish that on anyone because when my mom died, it was really rough on the family, especially my father. But when she's gone, and Roy's moved away, I think he's in Bangor, Maine, and Tony's gone, who's there for Lorne? It almost makes you sad until you realize that means he can't reach out and touch anybody. He can't terrorize them. So unless a new catfish comes along, Lorne will be alone. And I think he'll self-destruct. And like I said, by 2025, he'll be in prison. He'll lose the trailer. He'll have nothing to come back to. And maybe, finally, if he can't come back to the trailer, he will actually go find a place to live and get a real job and try to move forward. But those are my thoughts on a Friday. The research video coming out soon. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.